In the world of fame and desire, one woman's ambition leads to a haunting darkness. This is Maria's story, a chilling tale of beauty, susuk, and the spirits that follow. Maria was a woman of extraordinary beauty, so striking that anyone who laid eyes on her would be left utterly speechless. She worked as a nightclub singer, captivating audiences with her voice and her looks. But beneath that charm, Maria was hiding a dark secret, a secret that would turn her life into a living nightmare. It began as headaches, just a dull, throbbing pain, harmless at first, but then it grew. Soon, the headaches became the least of her worries. The shadows around her, they moved twisted into shapes, human but not. Voices whispered from the corners of her room, just out of reach. And no matter how much she tried to sleep, something or someone kept her awake. Maria turned to sleeping pills. At first, they helped, but as the nights wore on, the pills became useless. Her nights grew longer, the darkness grew thicker, and the whispers louder. Maria's family urged her to seek medical help. She went from doctor to doctor, hospital to hospital, but none of them could find anything wrong. She was healthy, they said, physically fine. But Maria knew something inside her was deeply broken. Desperate for answers, Maria's family turned to a more traditional route. They sought the help of Ustaz Akbar, a local healer known for dealing with spiritual disturbances. He began a ruqya, an Islamic healing ritual to cleanse her soul. But from the moment the ritual began, it was clear. This was no ordinary case. The air around her grew heavy, thick with something dark, something ancient. Ustaz Akbar knew this was beyond him. He referred Maria to Ustaz Bahri, a man who had dealt with forces far more sinister. As Ustaz Bahri began his spiritual scan, a chilling revelation surfaced. Over 100 jinn were inside Maria's body, each one clinging to her, feeding off her life. Among them, a Pontianak, a vampiric ghost, its hollow eyes glowing like dying embers. As Ustaz Bahri recites Quranic verses, the air thickens with dread, and shadows twist around Maria, tightening like a noose. The Pontianak hovers nearby, its twisted smile a sinister reminder of beauty turned grotesque. Maria shivers as its icy breath brushes against her neck, a chilling whisper crawling into her thoughts. Threatening and filled with despair. The ghost's laughter mixes with the Ustaz's words, weaving a sinister melody that plants seeds of fear, drawing her closer to the lurking darkness, just waiting to swallow her whole. Ustaz Bahri pauses, feeling the weight of the haunting presence. Sighing deeply, he turns to Maria, his voice a mix of concern and resignation.
What have you done?
He asks, as if already knowing the answer but hoping against hope that it wasn't true.
This is no ordinary spirit you've invited into your life.
That was when Maria broke down. She confessed she had been using susuk for 5 years, a charm hidden under her skin, on her face and in her intimate areas. It had brought her fame, fortune, and beauty, but now it brought her nightmares. The price of her success was far greater than she could have imagined. The susuk had invited dark forces into her life, forces she couldn't control. The blessings that once flowed had now turned to curses. But the Pontianak wasn't the only spirit haunting Maria. Snakes. Dark, sinister snakes that slithered through her nightmares, their scales glistening like wet shadows. Each night, they coiled tighter around her, squeezing the hope from her heart and wrapping her in a suffocating grip. These jinn weren't just mere phantoms. They were sent with a chilling purpose, a mission to kill her future husband if she ever dared to marry. The source of this torment lay buried in her choices, the susuk she had inserted into her intimate areas, believing it would enhance her beauty and boost her career. Little did she know, The dark magic of the susuk invited these malevolent spirits into her life. Each jinn that latched onto her was drawn to the power of the charm, hungry for the chaos it could create. The very essence of her allure became a beacon for darkness, turning her dreams into a twisted nightmare where snakes slithered, whispering promises of ruin, and the shadow of lost love loomed ever closer. Ustaz Bahari didn't give up. He knew Maria's fight was far from over. He advised her to stay at a religious retreat, a quiet and secluded place far from the city's chaos. Here, she would undergo multiple Ruqya sessions, each one aiming to rid her of the dark forces that had taken hold of her life. But her recovery was anything but easy. Each session brought new waves of terror. The moment the Quranic verses were recited, Maria would convulse, her body reacting violently to the cleansing words. Sometimes she would scream in voices that weren't her own, guttural and animalistic. During the nights, the spirits didn't rest. The shadows in her room twisted into grotesque shapes, their whispering voices calling her name, taunting her. In one particularly horrifying moment, Maria swore she felt cold, scaly hands gripping her wrists, pulling her toward the dark corners of the room. The fear was overwhelming, and with each session, it seemed like the spirits were fighting back harder, desperate to keep their hold on her. One night, she woke up screaming. She swore she saw a massive, dark figure watching her. Its eyes gleamed red, its body cloaked in shadows. She heard its voice, whispering threats to kill her. The sound of Maria's piercing scream echoed through the retreat, jolting everyone awake. People rushed to her room, fear gripping their hearts. They found her trembling, drenched in cold sweat, her eyes wide with terror as she pointed to the dark corner of the room. Ustaz Bari wasted no time. He quickly gathered his tools and began reciting Quranic verses with urgency. The air grew thick with tension, and as the verses flowed, the temperature in the room seemed to drop. The presence of the figure was palpable, its threat looming over everyone, but Ustaz Bari's recitations pushed it back, though not without resistance. Maria clung to the Ustaz's words, her only hope as the retreat fell into a terrifying, tense silence. The jinn didn't want to leave. They clung to her, tightening their grip. Every moment was a battle for her soul. But Ustaz Bari was relentless. He continued the exorcisms, his prayers growing louder, more powerful, until finally, one by one, the spirits began to fall away. When the last of the jinn left her body, Maria was free from the torment, free from the nightmares. But as the weight lifted, a heavy silence filled the room. Ustaz Bahari, though exhausted, looked at Maria with a solemn expression. He gently but firmly advised her,
What you have done cannot be undone, but you must never repeat this mistake again. The price you paid was high, but next time it could be even worse. Your soul could be at stake.
Maria, still trembling from the ordeal, felt a deep shame wash over her. Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded, understanding the gravity of what had happened. The pain, the fear, the endless nights of horror, it had all been her doing. The promise of beauty and success wasn't worth the nightmare that followed. She swore in that moment never to be tempted by such dark paths again, no matter the promises they held. The fame, the fortune, the life she had once loved now felt like a distant dream. The price she paid for those fleeting years of success was far too high. Maria's story is a reminder to all of us. The darkness may promise you everything, but it will take everything in return. Would you risk your soul for success? In the end, Maria's story isn't just about the price of vanity. It's a cautionary tale about the unseen forces we often underestimate. What may seem like a shortcut to success can become the path to your downfall. If you enjoyed this chilling story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales that explore the darker side of the unknown. And if you have any suggestions for our next content, let us know in the comments below. Who knows, your story might just be the next one we uncover.